Anyways, we're back.
Welcome back to Dysfunctional as Fuck.
Dysfunctional as fuck.
Functional as fuck. How was your trip? You just went to Colorado.
Went to Colorado. I learned line dancing. Did that. Did the two-step, maybe? I don't really know what it's called.
How many steps go into a line dance?
I was fucking it up, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was my southern roots, I feel like, were showing. But I didn't have cowgirl boots. I wanted them.
I'm glad that you really elevated your thinking during that trip. It was a really deep soul
I did.
search.
I went cliff jumping. That was very, like, adrenaline rush.
Adrenaline inducing.
I love adrenaline, so.
Bit of a junkie.
Hypothetically
A
speaking.
little bit. Drugs.
I think if I could cliff jump every day, I would finally be able to stop vaping. Because I feel like it would.
You said vaping?
Vaping. I feel like it would finally fill that
Void in your life?
void that vaping fills.
What's so funny about that? You're just like, oh my God, the vaping.
It's so bad. I need to go to rehab.
Well, you're at least you're not a functioning alcoholic anymore. That's
You know what? I saw one of my old friends in Colorado.
that you were an alcoholic with.
And I was an alcoholic in California, Cameron. Damn.
My bad. Wrong state and disease.
They told me, they're like, I never knew you like struggled with that. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm recovered though. And they're like, at 19. I was like, at 19,
Done good.
doing good. Have solid points. But what's new with you? I've been gone for a week, so Cameron and I are catching up.
We're catching up. No, I've just been going through a whole emotional journey because, as everyone knows, I keep having the feature I'm supposed to work on get pushed. So I keep telling everyone I'm leaving, and then I don't actually leave, and it's weird.
Is it like hard, like to like not?
So what I'll do is I'll have a whole month because it's a whole month that the feature is, and I'll like block out an entire month of my life and just be like, all right, I'm okay with just not seeing anybody for that time because I'll be gone, and like I'll turn down work and other things that are within that time frame. But then they push it, and it's we were originally slated to shoot I think a month ago from now. So it was like I've had 2 months where I've kind of been like telling everyone I can't work. And last week I was lucky enough to get a job, and I was like super grateful for it, and I'm glad I did it. But it was a bitch. It's been a bitch.
Is it like annoying to find time? Like, what else are you gonna do? Because I feel like you work a lot. Like, you love your work.
No, I love being like efficient with things, and it's weird because I've lost a lot of energy because I put in a lot of energy into I've had to drive down multiple vehicles and organize people and get all the gear ready and all this stuff. And it's like, now it just sits there, but I can't undo it all because I'm supposed to go back down in like a week.
Yeah.
And the reset takes not months, but reset takes hours and hours to do anything. So
I'm sorry, I'm just mad. It's just my thought in my head. I'm mad because you get like the good lighting right now. Like, you have like the little like window shades. I was just upset because I don't have that lighting. That's all. I was listening to what you were saying, but I was also thinking about that. I was like, damn.
I'm glad that you're having a really.
I was like, fuck, my eyes look blue. Like,
yeah, that's true.
As a kid, I used to stare at the sun as long as I could because I thought it'd make my eyes bluer. I'm not fucking with you.
Speaking of that, here's a good question for you. What's your happiest memory as a child?
Whoa. I always have the memory of us riding. Remember when Dad would put me on the front of his bike in that little seat, and we'd bike to go get like sandwiches or something?
Yeah, fucking.
I just always think
Mike's
about that.
Meat Shack. No, what was
Mike's Meat Shack.
What was it? Mike's.
I hope it wasn't named that. It was something Mike's. Mike's Meat.
I think it was Mike's Meat Shop or something.
His meat we would bike to. So, but that, like, I always think back on it. It was like so fun. And like, I just remember like all of us, like, we would always get along. Like, Chase wasn't trying to, you two weren't fighting, trying to kill each other.
No one was trying to kill anybody.
No one was trying to kill anyone. And like, that was fun. I don't know, what was yours?
Mine? That's hard. I have a lot of really good memories. I loved when we were younger and we would just run around neighborhoods pretending that like we were wizards or some shit.
I loved playing with that, those weird ass kids down the street.
What we know.
Weird ass kids, but like.
It's fine. They're great people now.
They're great people. I'm sure they're wonderful. Weird. But there's no way they're listening to this. If you are, I'm sorry. But no, those, like, we were just like, my imagination. That's what I miss.
Playing Smash Bros with them too was fun as shit. Like,
yeah, I never got that far.
I know you're too young to understand.
I just always wanted to be Princess Peach.
Yeah, you were really into that. And that was I feel like that was the only time of our lives when all three of us had the same friends.
Wow.
That was like the only time in our life. That's a weird thought.
Yeah, because then you went into hibernation and only growled at me and Chase. So.
I only growled at you. I spoke.
4 years.
Word.
4 years.
Are you ever going to live that down?
Nope.
Nope.
At your funeral, wedding, baby shower, any sort of event you have.
Any major life.
It could be minor too.
Just
It could be any sort of part of your life. I will bring that up.
4 years. You'll just be like.
4 years, he just grunted at me.
What do you think you liked about that time in your life so much?
The innocence.
The innocence.
And I just didn't care. Like, you didn't give a fuck. The imagination. That's what I miss. It's like, you didn't care. There's no social media. There was no anything. Like, all I cared about was playing. I didn't think about what I looked like. I didn't think about, what people thought of me. I didn't have any anxiety then. I didn't give a flying fuck about what I acted like. I acted crazy.
Yeah.
Just that. And, like, being able to just, like, have your imagination. And it's so innocent and simple. And, like, I think looking back on it, I think it's, like, beautiful. It's like, aw. And then now you look at me now, and it's like, aw,
Yeah. Something that I realized about, there's something about doing drugs that returns you.
Whoa, I was not expecting it to go that way. Holy
No,
shit.
no,
Okay,
yeah,
but
well.
yeah, I know where you're going, but I wasn't expecting drugs to.
No, well, okay, think about it like this. So when someone does drugs, they lower all of their inhibitions to most extent. You'll be out of your own body and out of your own mind in this like outside world where you don't have any stresses or anxieties because you're just not thinking about that yet. And a lot of the time, I feel like a lot of people who've done a lot of drugs or been in that world are just trying to return to a state as if when they were a kid.
Yeah.
Because that time was way more peaceful. It was collected. It was calm. So I think if you struggle with any kind of addiction in anything, I think it's good to realize that part of that is just you trying to return to being a kid. But if you do things today that would return you to being a kid and acting like one again to an extent, because the world tells you to grow up really quick. But
Adults are just kids with fucking jobs and responsibility.
I know. That's the biggest thing I realize is that there is not a difference between an adult and a kid.
Well,
Like it's the same human. It's just different like responsibilities.
I also think that like, because I saw this thing where it's like, well, some kids get addicted to nicotine, some don't.
Yeah.
Because I've had friends who hit vapes all the time, never get addicted. I hit it, fuck, I'm addicted. And like, I think a lot of it, most addiction, anxiety, depression, everything stems from your childhood. And I think people don't understand that. And it's like, yeah, you can pinpoint it because I know, okay, this is when I decided, this happened to me. That's probably why now I feel the need to do these things or drugs, relive my childhood. But I think it's hard to really comprehend what the fuck happened in your childhood and then know how to fix it. Because I know when it happened. I know exactly, okay, boom, that's when probably started getting anxiety.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to like really go back and heal that part. And
Something that I realized when I was growing up, I used to get super anxious before like a birthday party or if anything good ever happened to me, I would get super anxious and have like an anxiety attack. And it's because I got to a point where I realized I would get anxious because I thought I didn't deserve anything good in my life. So like I would just start freaking the fuck out of nowhere. And I had to, started going through this journey where I was like, let me understand myself and all this shit. And then I finally came to a point where I was like, oh, that's why you're freaking out. And I even catch myself now doing it where it's like when something good happens, I'll go into a mechanism and be like, shit, I'm freaking out. But I'm like, it's a good thing. Like, why are you stressed out?
Was it hard to like pinpoint when in your life you realized?
I think it was just me being really tired of being stressed out. Because I used to be like super fucking skittish and like anxious and like like if anything good happened, like if there was a birthday party, I would like not sleep the night before because I'd be stressed out. Like if I got like a big opportunity at work and got this big job that I landed, I wouldn't be able to sleep. Like it would just be this huge thing. So it's been like, it's kind of almost letting go of those moments in my life of being like, you know what, it doesn't matter.
But was it more of like, because like before something exciting is about to happen, I'll be like anxious, but in the way like I'm excited. Was it like that, or is it like, holy fuck, like I don't know. I
just remember it not being enjoyable. It wasn't like it was weird. I never had an excitement that I was like happy about. I was like, can I just not?
You just I do remember that on your birthday, like you would hate when we sang happy birthday to you. I remember that. I remember you getting like genuinely upset when we sang happy birthday to you.
I've gotten a lot. It's similar with taking compliments. Like I've gotten a lot better with taking compliments because I've been pretty dog shit.
I'm so bad at that.
If anyone says anything nice about me, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
My favorite thing is like when someone be like, oh wow, you look nice. I'm like, yeah, I actually showered. Like I'll just like say something stupid because I don't want to be like, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll fuck around and be like, I know. Like the other day, someone just like, was talking to me, an old friend, like for a long time. And she started like crying when she saw me. And I don't know why.
Didn't know how to process the
I didn't know how
emotion.
to process. So I was like, oh, what? You think I'm cute? Like, I was like being stupid because I didn't know what to
damn
say.
it.
I was like, because I know it's like, okay, like they haven't seen me in a long time,
Yeah.
you know, all this other shit. And I was like, she starts crying and I didn't know what to say. So I just kind of like made a joke. But I could have been like, wow, like, you know, that person like really was happy to see me, or like she's really surprised of how, you know, I've grown up. She's known me since I've been like a kid. And I don't know. I didn't even know that really. Like, I would put those two pieces together. Like, I always knew you hated little celebrations, but
Yeah. No, it's one of those things I just realized about myself. It was yesterday when I was talking with Ben and we were having a conversation, and he was mentioning how like people that he's been with are now like married or having kids. And I was like, I haven't, in my head, I'm like, wait, like that's going to happen to me eventually. Like someone I'm down the line that I've been with is going to get married. What do you say?
Are you like scared to kind of like have kids and be married?
No. I'm not scared to have kids and be married. I'm just thinking, I was saying in the context of like how he feels now, knowing that someone you once were with is now like starting their life in an extent. And to me, I was like, that's a weird feeling.
I feel like I'm going to be the one making everyone else feel like that.
You're going to be the first one to have.
I cannot wait to pop out some of those motherfuckers, dude.
You are so set on being a mom.
I am set. And I say firm in my beliefs.
You're like, I don't differentiate on that at all.
I don't. I have other passions, Cameron.
Something I do want to talk about is
what?
So a lot of people have identifications on gender roles nowadays.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Gender roles, like, you know, people are like women should be in the kitchen and all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And hey, for me,
my take.
I had a great conversation with a buddy yesterday, and we were talking about how like, first off, we broke off the gender and everything and just combined it to energy. Like people have masculine energy and then feminine energy, and both sexes have both. Like it's not just one or the other that gets to own all of it. And it was really interesting when we were talking. He was like, okay, you know, there's different roles like in a company. And it doesn't mean any role is like greater or lower. I mean, all of them are pretty important. Without one, like the role's there because it's needed. So another thing is too, I'm not a great leader in every aspect of my life. Like certain things I'm just not as good at. And I would love for my partner to be good at those things and lead in that area. So I always think it's weird whenever people make a blanket statement saying like, oh, men should always lead. And I'm like, well, I don't think I can lead everywhere great. Like I'm not going to be great at everything. I want someone else to be good at my faults and to hold me accountable and push me to be better.
But that's why I think like in relationships, like it should be you guys complement each other. Because for me, for instance, I do better in the kitchen. I do. Okay. Like that's just what I'm good at.
You're like,
okay?
I cook.
I can cook. I can clean. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm good at. And I know that. But that's not to take away from anyone else they're like, I don't like cooking clean. Like I don't really, you know, it's not how I show my love. You know, like taking care, that's not how I show my love. And I think when there's a masculine who hasn't understood yet that like there's different roles in life.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the fuck has it. Different roles. It can be challenging to be with someone, you know, when they're not, because not everything I'm good at. I don't always want to fucking do laundry.
Yeah.
No one always wants to do laundry.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'm probably wanting to do it so I can fold them the way I want to fold them. You know, like those type of things. But I think it's good just to pick up, just help each other. I think that's what it is. Like some things I might need to make the decisions in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because it might be more of like a feminine decision. And I'm more nurturing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And a lot of times, and for instance, for me, I tend to be like, you know, I have a lot of masculine energy, but I'm also very deep in the art side. And a lot of guys aren't anywhere in the arts, like at all. And they just have a obscene amount of pure masculine energy and no feminine. But I feel like as a human being,
it's good to have both.
As a human being, you're a lot more well-rounded of a person when you have both in your life. Like and especially when a girl can appreciate masculine energy and be like, I like when it's assertive and discerning and like things that are in that realm.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I agree. Sorry, I was just like so jealous about the lighting. It's just in my
You're
head.
really fucking set on this
really
lighting right now. No.
Damn.
No.
Okay. No, what I'm saying is like, I think it's annoying. Okay, or like when a masculine can't appreciate a feminine energy. It's like, okay, what you don't want, like, I think every man in their life would, you know, appreciates when, you know, that nurturing effect that we have.
And that's absolutely true.
They should appreciate it. Same goes for women. yeah, I will appreciate if I'm like, go fix my car. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. Like I'm gonna appreciate it because the fuck, I don't know how to change a fucking tire.
Yeah.
We've been over this. I'm never gonna learn how to change a tire. I need a man who can change a fucking tire.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like those type of things. And I think it's good to appreciate it. But then also, even if something's classified as a woman's role or a man's role, but your partner can't do it, and you know how to take up the fucking thing, who cares? It's also like for me, I feel like I'm like very weird because I'm like I feel like I have masculine energy, but then I do a lot of feminine energy things.
Yeah.
I don't know, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I
I'm
feel like
very-
your scale is like most people's scales are like this, and your scale is a lot more neutral in the fact of like because you can do a lot of things that can be assertive and are of
Or
certain
like mess
energy.
around because I grew up with brothers, so it's like
Yeah, you can be a lot more. You can be more aggressive and like
yeah, like more like joking around and like hanging with the homies, but then also
Yeah.
like I do enjoy that whole nurturing, like cooking and cleaning. I just like for me that's how I would show love, like
Yeah.
taking care, kind of. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's important. Like, you need to voice that with your partner too, and be like, "Hey, these are the things that I enjoy doing. Like, I genuinely like doing these roles. I don't care for these other roles. And if you enjoy those roles, that is a
Have at it, and if
that
we
is a
both don't
jackpot.
agree, okay, let's
Now
compromise.
let's split it up.
Yeah.
And it's always so annoying if you're like talking with a guy and then they just come out with like, "Well, I'm the man of the house. You just got to listen," and you're like, "Well, that is such a shallow, empty way of
If I
thinking."
hear that, I'm just gonna be like, if I had a dick,
You're
it'd be
like
bigger than yours.
weird. So this is a weird thought. Like even with you're like, so something with the human experience. Oh, also side note too. I've had people approaching me at the gym now, just opening up about like things that have happened in their life, and it's been the most genuine thing ever. I love it.
When I went to they'll just be like, I never knew, like da 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 da, and I had the same thing, and I was like,
They'll
yeah.
talk about it. Like
It makes me so happy. It really does, because it makes me feel like I'm like actually helping people and like doing something good. You know what I mean? Like
I had a
helping the
buddy that I
world.
was talking to, and he mentioned how he like lost a friend. Like he had like a super close group of friends that were like grew up since they were like 16, and one of them passed away from like some random thing.
Fuck.
And that like, and the anniversary was like 4 or 5 days ago, and I posted that video right when that happened, and he was like, "Dude, that fucking." We were in the gym having this like big moment, and I was like, "This is great." Like, and I've known this guy for probably like 10 years now, like a long time ever since I joined LAC back in the day. And he's like,
Oh, shit, that's
he was
been a
like, "Dude,
minute."
I've seen you since you were a kid, and like you've grown up and it was this really cool thing." And I was like, "This is nice."
Yeah, it's definitely weird, I think, for people because, and like, okay, for skating, like people have known me since I've been like fucking 6.
Yeah, you've been like a public like in the
6.
area.
Yeah, like my life has always been very not like public, like really, but you know,
There's been a community that's
they
grown with
knew
you.
who I was, right? And like I think because in skating it was something where like you don't really bring up all the problems. That was
Yeah,
one problem.
yeah.
You know, that was an issue. And now like I talk about it and they're like, fuck. Like, no one talks about that shit. No one brings it up. They act like nothing happens in it. And like hearing you talk about it, like that was like, yeah, absolutely. Like I get it. The partying thing I said, they were like, yeah, it's hard to party now. Like, or to have that same enjoyment
Yeah.
that you had. Like like lost Peter Pan syndrome or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
But I don't know, my brain just lagged out. I'm not
Yeah.
even playing. Like I had a whole train of thought. And
Yeah, the whole thing. I have that happen a lot too.
It just left.
Well, it's interesting when people think of like they want to go back to a time in their life. Like they want to go back to when they like, I wish I could just drink for the first time again. It's like, why do you want that?
I do, but that's because it's like when I did, it was such like an exciting thing, right? Like it's so.
So what was exciting about it?
Like feeling like you're like a older kid or like you can make your own decisions, like you're a grown up. That's what I think was exciting. But I feel like that's kind of oxymoron now because I want to be a kid.
You don't want to, yeah.
Because when I was a kid, it was so like, la la la, like literally that's all I can explain. Like,
So
la, la.
let's work through that. So the answer isn't you want to be a kid, and the answer isn't you want to be a grown up. Like those aren't the answers. So then why did you enjoy it, or why do you want to go back to that feeling?
I don't know. Like, maybe because the first time that like I felt like just open up, be like true. You know what I mean? Like I didn't care what anyone thought. And actually I wasn't anxious at all at that point. I think that's why. Like I never had that anxiety going into it. Like I've said, like that's why I kind of coped with alcohol was because like I was anxious, you know, insecure and all these other things. And I think back then I just didn't care. And it was such like a carefree thing, right? Like it was just like innocent again. But that's something I feel is hard though, because like I feel like I've always been forced to like act older, be older, do all these older things, and like now I kind of feel at like a plateau because I'm like, okay, I'm almost 20. Now I feel like I'm too young. Like I'm acting too young. Like I don't have my shit together. When before it was always like I just constantly feel like I'm trying to chase. Like you got to be more mature. You got to be better. You got to do this. You got to do this. Like you have so much you have to get done. You need to be accomplished. Why aren't you making money? Like all these things going on. Because when I skated, it was like I was forced to grow up so young. Like at 13, I had to be an adult for some fucking reason. Told my coaches, you gotta look more mature. Like look, and they made me look mature. You know what I mean? Like all those things. So I don't know. Maybe it's because that was before the time when I felt like I had to be older.
There's a psychological practice that I recently did. Is that I was talking with myself inside of my head, and there's an innate person inside of you, another being, that whenever you get close to something vulnerable, it will fight back and push against it. And I addressed that person as what it was and said, hey, can I talk to him for a minute? And by him, I meant the younger version of me that it was protecting so I didn't hurt it. Because younger me right now is scared from like someone not talking to me at the lunch table or kids being mean to me. Like I have these people inside of me protecting me from all those things that hurt me when I was younger. So I had that practice and I was working and thinking through that and had a conversation. I was like, how old do you think you are? Asking myself that. And then you ask that guy who's protecting you, you're like, you're 14, you're scared. And you're like, well, no, I'm not 14 anymore. Like I'm 20, 24. I'm old enough now. And having that conversation with yourself being like, you don't need to take care of me anymore. Like, it's okay. Aren't you tired? You want to take a break?
Dang.
And I went through that and it was heartbreaking. I was like, holy shit.
Well, it's like when, like your brain has that thing like, don't touch the hot stove because you know you're going to get hurt.
Yep.
It's like that. And I think when you build up, everyone has traumas.
Yeah. I say this, being alive is innately traumatizing.
How on earth? Like, it is traumatizing. And I've just never thought of it that way. Like, yeah, there are things where it's like, no. Like, you already know this ends. And, I mean, that's something I'm definitely struggling with right now. Is like, I'm scared to, get hurt again because of my past, relationships and whatever.
I think the terminology is IFS training, but it's this new psychological study that they're coming out with that like inside the human psyche, there are other beings like a family to where if you neglect
schizophrenia.
No, well, so that's the issue. A lot of people thought DID in those circumstances were schizophrenia, and they're realizing that it's not. It's people not being able to have a healthy relationship within themselves and just understanding that dynamic that you have being a human being. It's like those thoughts in your head. And like
that makes sense. Because I was learning about that in my psych class, was about schizophrenia and stuff, and that would make a lot more sense. Because that one, schizophrenia is like or DID, is like, sorry, not schizophrenia, DID.
Yeah.
It's something where it's like, it's very hard to understand because it's like, okay, are you just fucking delusional? But that makes sense because there is always, like, not like people in your head, but you know what I mean? Like, there's always just thoughts. Like, you have that, like, you're conscious inside your head. And it makes sense they can't differentiate, whatever the fuck, damn it.
Differentiate. Yeah, that's right.
That's right, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Differentiate the difference between this is real and like this is just like the voice, like this is just what's going on in your head. And I think they're so traumatized that it's like everyone's like yelling basically at them. And like when I smoked weed, that's the only way I can ever understand when people have like super bad mental. Because like when I smoke weed, it literally feels like, your anxiety, that little voice in your head. Okay, it's like it's fucking screaming at me. I'm not playing. Like, in my head is screaming. And I feel horrible every time I smoke weed. Like, genuinely. But then when I do that, I do also realize, like, those are just your traumas heightened, like, right now, in this moment, because you're so in your head right now that it's all heightened. And you can't control it. You don't know how to stop it. You feel fucking crazy. You're anxious as hell. You're insecure. All these other things. That's weird. I never thought of DID like that. I like that analogy though.
No, this podcast I listened to, I think it was like a 2-hour episode, but I was getting deep into it and I was like, holy shit. It was like a pretty groundbreaking thing for me to like realize just with my self-talk that I have. Because everyone talks about, it's pretty well accepted that like the way you talk to yourself is important, but that wasn't ever fleshed out for me to the extent of like, talking with yourselves. Like the different versions of you that exist within
what
you.
What if you just like secretly have DID and you have no idea right now? And like you're like coming out and there's like some therapist watching this like, oh Poor dude.
Well, no, even the so here's another thing too. In Gabor Mate's book, The Myth of Normal, he talks about how there are no actual studies that ever tie any chemical imbalance in the brain being to any mental disorder. It's not a thing. You can ask anybody ever and do some research on this. Prove me wrong.
No way.
It's actually a thing. It's legit.
Well, no, because people with depression,
there's
if
no,
you do a brain scan.
There's no chemical imbalance in the brain. They can't measure anything.
So then why do they put us on antidepressants, which levels out that chemical imbalance? Big pharma, bro. That shit's fucked. I am passionate about that.
Gabor, what he talks about is that how medication can get you out of a state. That's what it's made for. And every mental disorder that we've ever come up with, depression, anxiety, all of this is because of something that happened to us. It's not something we're just crazy. It's not
like you just wake up one day and you're like, I have depression. Like it's over time. It builds.
No, it's a causality.
Exactly.
Like it's something that happens, and there's something that comes with being separate. Like honestly, I am not normally like fucking hug a tree type dude. I'm not, but being in nature and being with what the world is and all the beauty that it brings is connecting. And when you tap into that connectivity, and that could be God, that can be whatever you want to label it as, but that interconnection that everything has is calming when you can be a part of that. And when you understand that, like, here's something else that can blow your mind. The human body is just held together by air. If you take a zoom out and look at the earth from the sun, the difference in size from, everything in a telescope of our atoms is just, there's a lot of air. There's a lot of empty space in a person. So what holds it together? I'm like, okay, well, what makes a human being or what makes a person? It's like, well, these atoms are held together by this energy, and this energy is inside of this world that has all these other pieces of energy that are held together. And it's like, okay. And when you start getting deep into it, you're like, what's really here?
I feel like
depending on when you scale
it makes you think like, dang, like I'm not, I'm really am.
You're kind of nothing.
Yeah, really. Like not in the way of like you are nothing, but like it's not everything. Like you can take it more in the way of like it's always not that serious. Like life goes on. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to pressure yourself so much. Like at the end of the day, you're just a fucking clump of cells basically. That has a conscious.
Another beautiful thing that I think Neil deGrasse Tyson, that's the astrophysicist, right?
Fuck if I know.
Super smart dude, but he talks about how in the stars, like the four most potent and common ingredients, like carbon and all that stuff, whatever those ingredients are the same ingredients found in people.
Really?
Yeah. So he basically goes on to like stardust is us. We're made of the same stuff that's found in the universe.
And
have you seen
I'm made of stardust? That makes me feel like I'm just like the fucking twinkle in the sky. Like genuinely.
Have you seen there's a picture of like the human brain and all the synapses, and then there's a picture of the universe and they look the exact same.
No shot. I've seen the picture of the synapses.
Well, the Fibonacci sequence, I think that's what it is. It's like all over the universe. Like everything in nature and art, like it's just appeared over and over and over. And you're like, wait a minute.
Dude, there's this fucked up conspiracy theory I saw. And it basically says, okay, like, like the pyramids?
Yeah.
Okay, so they were saying that if you take the dimensions of the pyramids, it is the exact same, or coordinates, or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
It's the exact same as the Earth.
Yeah.
Like the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they really know, but they're saying like some shit. Yeah, and they're like, oh, how is it possible? Like there has to be something else that was helping these people build these pyramids, because they're like, even nowadays we can't build that shit. Like what, we got dumber by time? Probably. I definitely have. But like, you know what I mean? Like that type of shit. There's just some things too I think are just like unexplainable, and that's where either like you can, go into like your faith, or you can go into your spirituality, anything. But like, for me, like, there's no fucking way that there's not something like greater than like just human on Earth. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just weird when you, or what's a fucking Ryan's belt? What's that star?
No, not Orion's belt. I mean, there's a lot of stars out there.
Not star. It's like a damn it.
A constellation?
This is when I wish I had my phone so I could look this up.
Well, now we just have to know things.
And this fuck.
I know.
I don't start school for another 2 weeks, Cameron. I don't even know anything. But yeah, I don't know. Back to what you said about like the trauma. I'm sorry, this trauma thing is like so mind-boggling to me. This whole DID thing.
No, it's crazy.
About not being able to like address it, or like when you're saying like, okay, there's that inner voice saying.
No, so basically how it breaks into is that you have three different archetypes that will exist within yourself. One is a firefighter that's always putting out issues and trying to control things. Another is like a nurse, and one's like a a denier or someone that's reactionary. But I forgot the exact terminology there. But those three people will exist inside of you and come up in certain instances whenever you start prodding and probing inside of someone, like with traumas or anything. It's like when you have a conversation with somebody and then like the switch happens and they're like, I don't want to, I'm not talking about this. And it's weird too. Everyone talks about DID being this weird thing. You ever talk to anybody and hit a sensitive spot and they change to a different person?
Yeah,
That's a different
sure
person
as hell
coming
do.
out.
Actually, yeah.
Because you're not you in that
when there's
moment.
something like that, I'll just make a joke. I won't like be like, no, but like I'll just joke about it. Be like, yeah.
But there are things though that I guarantee that if we, got deep enough into something, you would get angry about it or something would happen.
Yeah, like the things I believe, like I'm right, you're wrong. Like
Yeah.
those type of things, yeah, I'd be pretty adamant.
Yeah, I'm sure there's even moments in your life too where you'll get pretty upset if things were brought up or you had to dive into that moment.
So then okay, so like for instance, trusting people.
The age-old question.
Age-old question. So that I'm more asking you. Like if I have those traumas, right? And like you said, that person in your head is saying, no, don't do it. But I gotta trust someone at some point. You know what I mean? Like I can't just build up walls. That's not healthy. It's not right. It's not the right thing to do. Like how would you work on that to solve it?
So I think if I had an innate issue with trusting people that was to a delusional extent, not something within a reasonable reason.
But if it's reasonable, like there's factual reason why I should not.
Why you should not trust them?
Like, okay. Just gonna out myself right now. Basically, I've been in 3 relationships my whole life.
Yeah. They all cheated
cheated.
on you.
All of them.
Yep.
Okay.
Go.
3 for 3, baby. So, how the fuck you fix that one? Right? Like, it's like, well, every time I've been in a relationship, it ends this way.
With you
That
feeling like something's wrong with you.
Yeah, that whole thing. It's like, what's wrong with me? Especially when it's happened like fucking every time. It's like that because like they know that I've been, it's like, oh well, they think that I'll be okay. Like,
have you heard the story of the emerald yet?
No.
So this little boy one day comes across an emerald in his dad's garage, and the boy's like looks at it and he's like, "This is really cool. Like, I love this thing." And the boy might be like, "This might be worth a lot of money. Let's go sell it." And tells his dad. His dad's like, "Okay, go to a pawn store and come back and let me know what you think and let me know what they say." He goes to the store. They look at it and they're like, "Okay, this is cool. I'll give you like $35-$40. And he's like, oh, okay. Goes back to his dad and tells him, he's like, all right, go down the street to like, a store that deals with antiques. He's like, okay. Goes to the other store and they're like, oh, this is a nice gem. I can give you like a few $100. The boy's like, oh my gosh, this is great. He's like, okay, I'm going to go back to the dad. And dad's like, okay, well, let's go somewhere else and check. And he goes to a jewelry store last. And the jewelry store looks at it and is like, oh my God, this is super rare. This is worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the boy's like jumping up and down. He's super excited. He goes back to his dad. And the dad asks him, he's like, what did you learn? And the boy says, well, I don't know. And the dad looks at him and says, the jewel didn't change in any circumstance. It was worth the same in every universe. The only issue is that the person looking at it thought it was worth a little less. So when you take that in, it's not the people that define your value. Your value is separate from any other human being. You get to put that upon yourself. So it's not the it's not the trust that comes innately with anything. It's the value that you put upon yourself. Because when that's established, then it doesn't matter about the trust because you know that you're going to be consistent outside of them.
For the audio listeners right now, I'm having a crisis. Wow. Yeah. Holy shit. That's good.
You're like, I'm gonna need to cry about that later.
Later, I'm gonna be going to sleep just being like, I'm an emerald.
You're like, I'm a fucking diamond.
I'm a diamond, I swear. Yeah. No, never.
I've heard it used with cars, and it's like the last time they take it to like someone who collects cars, like
They value it.
Yeah.
Is it like the thing where like, okay, so yours is like both a little more intelligent. I just heard the one where it said like, if you buy a water bottle at the airport, it's gonna cost $5.
Yeah, same
Okay, yeah.
concept. I mean, that's how I've learned a lot of my things I've learned in life through stories like that. And the thing is, every culture and everyone has the exact same story. They just change little parts of it. Like, there's so many different like parables that you can learn from.
So basically, you're saying like, okay, because when people cheat, there is always like the, you know, there's little thoughts. It's like I know logically, I know I'm good enough. I know I'm not
Yeah.
ugly. I
Yeah.
know there's nothing you can do to stop them cheating. If they want to cheat, they will. Period.
Yep.
Basically, you're saying like it's just like you just are putting yourself around the wrong people who aren't valuing you in the way that you are. Like they're not holding your value.
Well,
what you bring.
it's putting it's putting yourself around people who are not valuing you. It is you being steadfast in the value that you know that you're actually worth, because you're not knowing that like you in this situation isn't worth any less than you in this situation. It's a constant. That's a big part of it. A lot of it deals with self, like the reaction that you allow yourself to experience when something happens. Voicing it's huge. I think talking with friends or people you care about and being like, I think that since they cheated, I'm worth less. And just being frank about that and saying every insecurity you have in that situation.
I know, but in those moments, it's like logically, I know that them cheating doesn't lower my worth. I know that logically, right? I'm like, okay, fucking Rihanna got cheated on. Fucking Chloe, she's pregnant. There's nothing you can do, right? But then there's always that little bit where it's like, damn, it's happened 3 times though. Like, fuck, like, just happened again. Like I thought, this one was, all these other things, and it's like, it's hard to accept. Because with every problem, I feel like I always look back and be like, okay, well, what's wrong with me with it? Because I like to be like, you know what I mean? I don't always just want to blame, And I do know, like, okay, there was something that, like, they felt like they were lacking from me. But then it's also like, well, were they? Because, all these other things. And
so here, let's do a practice I just did on my last podcast. Why do you think it matters? Why do you think that matters?
what?
Cheating.
I think cheating just breaks up a lot of families, and I think love is, to me, defined by loyalty, respect, and trust. That's what love is to me.
Okay. Why you establish that? Why do you think something's wrong with you if someone cheats on you?
Like, why am I not enough for that person?
Why does it matter if you're not enough?
Because I loved them to not do that to them. Because I couldn't hurt someone like that.
Why does it matter that you'll do something for someone else, but they don't do the same back for you?
Because it makes me feel stupid. Like I put too much energy in.
What's wrong with putting too much energy in?
Fair. Touche.
No, I mean, seriously, what's wrong with that?
I just feel like it's like unfair, kind of. Like, I gave you all of me. I was
Yeah.
full in. And it's like, and I never once didn't do something to fulfill that. So why would you go do something like that? Like, it's just like, and that makes me feel stupid because it's like, well, why the fuck did I put my time and energy into you?
But why does it matter that it makes you feel stupid?
Because I care what I think about myself. Because it makes me just feel like disappointed in myself, like I didn't know.
Why do you care about what you think about yourself?
How many more times are you gonna ask me what I care? Is it at the end you're just gonna say like, see, none of this matters? Because if so, let's just
No. This is a part of the exercise. You need to understand.
Why do I care? Because I care what other people think.
Why do you care what other people think?
Trauma.
You need to expand.
Because I've always been in a light of judgment growing up. I'm always being literally, figuratively and literally judged.
Okay. This started out as cheating. We're now ending at being a little girl being judged by skating. Is this the same thing?
Damn, dude. Damn it, Cameron. Why you get me emotional and shit right now? Oh.
Is it the same
Couldn't point
thing?
at that one. Whole shit. No, it's not.
Okay. So we identified that they're separate things right now.
take a little gulp of water for that bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, they're separate. Someone cheating on you is not the same as a judge saying you're not good enough in a skating competition. We can identify those two things as a separate entity. So that's okay. Now I would also say you're not skating anymore. You're not doing that. There aren't people judging your life for everything that you do. No one's going to think ill of you because someone cheated on you. It's not a reflection. Because you're not skating. You're not being judged. It's not in this universe anymore. So detach the two and experience them as for the things that they are. Experience cheating as someone just deciding to go a different route in life. It's a different chapter. You just flip the page. And understand where the emotion is stemming from. That's why we do this exercise of why. And I do the same thing within myself. Understand that this emotion was a causality for this thing, but they're not the same. So let's differentiate that. And when that's done, I think you'll be able to take a lot of the charged emotion behind this thing and view it in a different light. Because right now what's happening is that we ended up here, and that's because this emotion is now funneling into that circumstance, but that circumstance is not that thing anymore. So when you get past that, then you can start viewing cheating in a different light. Not saying that it's good, but in something that's less effective for yourself. You don't have to internalize it as much.
Like it's more of like a them problem.
It's
I know that, but like that's what I'm saying. That like I know that. Like I know it's not a me problem. What the fuck? I didn't do it. I didn't ask. I wasn't like yes.
Yeah.
God, please. No. But like I understand it's a them problem. Like they need their own fucking shit. But you know, there's some shit that comes with it though. You know?
Yeah, it's still gonna suck. It's not gonna be good.
Have you ever been cheated on?
I don't think I've been like. I haven't been out. No, I don't think I've been out frontally cheated on, but I've had plenty of heartbreaks. I understand the situation there. I've had betrayals. I've had people betray me, and I've lost friends over it. So it's just a different context.
Yeah, it's same shit, different font.
Same emotion, different context. So I understand the basic human emotions that follow with it, but yeah, I mean, for you, I just really think it's important to like, dig really deep because we ended up here, like we got down here when we were talking, and there's more. This goes further. It goes deeper. Like
I don't know. Literally, like I don't think I have that much memory.
You do.
I can go any further back.
You do. Just wait. I've done things where I've unlocked memories, like going deeper into my psyche, and I'm like, holy shit.
I just have this thought real quick.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's supposed to be the therapist. I'm studying in school to do that.
I know.
How the fuck did you just therapize me?
It's almost like I do hours of research every day on mental health.
I know that. I'm just saying. How the turntables have turned. I'll be a great therapist. I'll go with you. I'll be chilling.
I'm going to get a call after every session you have and be like, Cameron, I don't know what the fuck to say to this person.
So, like, I'm sitting there, I'm just like,
You're like, that
how
sucks.
the turntables have turned.
You're like, holy shit.
It's like, you ever try nicotine?
You ever done hard drugs?
I'll take a shot for you.
It's like, there's a compensation there.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
how much time do we have right now? I'm sorry, I'm just like.
We're at 44.
We're doing good.
We're doing good.
Sorry, my hips are currently in pain. I'm just gonna go take. I have chem lesions.
Yeah.
They're like bone spurs on my little hip bones. Mm-hmm. So they ache sometimes.
They're painful.
They're a little painful sometimes. Like, right, I might need to stand up and stretch real quick. Like, actually. Anyways.
This is Kate's. What this is right now is you.
You don't gotta call me out.
Wanting
right
to
now.
run for a minute because we just got to like a really deep part inside yourself.
Okay, why would I knew, but you don't have to call me out.
No,
right
well,
now.
I'm saying let's take this moment and recognize that and be like, okay, I feel uncomfortable because we just got to a point that I didn't know about and I wasn't aware of. Now I'm aware of it. I don't know how I'm going to deal about it because now you're going to go to bed tonight and think about all the shit that we talked about.
You know what? I had this conversation with Mandy.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, I was like, it takes me a long time to fall asleep at night.
Yeah.
No, like I don't know how people put down their phones 5 minutes out. I'm not playing from the time I put down my phone, it's like 45 minutes to an hour of me having to lay there with my eyes closed to actually fall asleep.
Yeah.
And it's fucking painful. It's annoying because your head won't shut up. Mm-hmm. I always think she was like, you should talk about that in therapy. I was like, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's like an anxiety. I don't know what the fuck that is, but
It's being able to calm your mind. I've had the exact same issue. There were a time in my life where I like didn't sleep for shit because I was so
Like I
fucking wired.
cannot fall asleep. It's like I'm saying, I'm like, it's like everything from God, I swear, like the time I came out of my mom. So like now it's going.
I mean, and that's where meditation helps. It's clearing your
I
mind.
can't meditate.
Well, so meditation, a lot of people fuck up. They don't understand the whole basis of it. And meditating isn't clearing your mind. Meditating is focusing on one thing. Meditating is having a single focus.
It's like when
on
you're
something.
driving, you zone out. Would that be meditating?
So a part of it would be like, all right, drive with no music.
Oh, dude, those rough days, no music. You're just sitting there staring.
You're just thinking, and then go to the park, and just walk aimlessly for a while. Nothing.
See, yours is like the park. Mine's like the beach. Like at the beach is when I feel
well,
just like
nature.
we live in
Just go.
stupid Kentucky.
Either way, I think everyone should be in nature daily. Do something that involves you with it. Try grounding.
Walk to my car.
No, like go out somewhere that's a little farther away. But I think that would help your mind a lot because if you can like disconnect from a lot of the stuff
just
that's
sit
always
there and
screaming
think.
at you.
Yeah. Because maybe I'm like just like going through my days trying to,
And then
I get to night and I'm like,
feed your
fuck.
brain too. That's a huge part. Like if I don't do the things every day that I do, I know I will lose my shit. Like
If I don't
live the
work
life
out,
I
I'm
live.
gonna literally go psycho.
I do the things I do so I stay mentally sane. And that's
Yeah.
how I've been able to like work through stuff and like learn. And by the way, working through things it's not fixed. It's not gone. I just have more tools to handle things now.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I still have the same thoughts. I still am an asshole at times. Like nothing's different. I just have tools to be like, okay, I'm not self-aware enough to know if this happens, I can do this, or I can do this breathing technique, or I can like if I'm exhausted, I can lay down for like 10, 15 minutes with my feet up because I know that's like a biological thing that can help restore energy or
You're just finding tools to help.
It's all tools.
And I think that goes back to like when they say, oh, like, men aren't emotional. Because when you think of emotion, you think of sad and happy. I think a lot of people think of that. And I think people forget, like you just said, you learned how to deal with it. That anger is an emotion. And I think that's how a lot of men are emotional. Mm-hmm. It's not through crying or this, it's through anger. Like they are emotional. I think men are very emotional, but it comes to terms of anger. Women, we fucking cry because we get mad. I don't know why, but we get mad and cry.
Yeah.
It's what we do. And I think learning, you said like the tools, like learning, like you still have that thing when you're in your head where you're like, I want to fucking beat this person up. I want to scream at them. I want to do all this.
You get angry.
But you understand as you get older, and I think emotionally mature, like, oh, I know now that like me doing this is not going to solve anything.
Yeah.
It's like, I know me getting myself worked up and like crying, it's not going to fucking solve anything.
Yeah.
I need to understand how to regulate my emotions, relax, and then go from there. Yeah, you can still feel emotion. That's okay. But to not let it consume you, I think is really a smart tool to have.
Yeah. That's a strong thing. If the world learned emotional regulation, I think we'd be in a...
I just sounded so intelligent. I'm sorry.
You were like, that was a good...
That was a good one. Like, I hope I clipped that. I hope I sounded smart.
I'm
really congested though, so listen,
Yeah.
they're hearing me sniffle a little bit over here.
Well, I think... What time is it, Jacoby? Let's end it.
Can we clap?
Okay.
Done.
All right.
Yay.
Thank you guys for listening to episode 4, right?
Episode 4 of Dysfunctional As Fuck.
I'm going to like edit this right now and put it out in like 20 minutes.
These people just learned so much, I feel like, about me. They just found out about me at the same time I did.
You were like, this was a live therapy session.
This was a live therapy session for me.
That'd be $20. I'm a cheap therapist.
About lunch.
Fine. I'll take it.
Anyways, bye.